Today's story is a mysterious one with two timelines. One follows Paris, living in 2003, and the other follows Ellie, living in 2022. The story is about mysterious disappearance of a young girl, Anna Bennett, and the supernatural aura surrounding Caddo Lake. The movie opens with a car crash in 1999. A mother loses control of her car, crashes into a bridge, and plunges into the lake below. Her young son tries desperately to save her, but he couldn't do it. He surfaces alone, gasping for air. Fast forward to 2003. Paris works at Caddo Lake with a colleague, trying to pull an old pipe from the lake's shallow waters. They talk about the lake's history and its unusually low water levels. Paris struggles with the trauma of his past, blaming himself for not being able to save his mother. He's also dealing with a strained relationship with his father, Ben, who he distanced himself from after his mother's death. Later, Paris drives his father to a funeral for an old friend, Billy. Ben is sick and frail, but he urges Paris to reconnect with the community he has shut himself off from. Now in 2022, meet Ellie. She picks up her younger sister Anna from school, and the two set out on a small adventure. They cross the river by boat, with Anna asking to steer. When they reach the shore, they seize a group of kids surrounding a stranded crocodile's dead body. Ellie steps in and sends the crocodile back into the water. Meanwhile, Paris is revisiting the past through his father's notes, which contain records about his mother's battle with seizures. These seizures, along with her mysterious bleeding ears, caused her great pain. Paris visits the doctor who treated her, desperate for answers. His mother had been seizure-free for 6 years before the car accident in 1999. However, doubts now haunt him about her condition and what led to her death. The doctor tells him to move on as there was nothing he could have done. Back at home, Paris encounters an old friend, C, who has traveled from Houston for her grandfather's funeral. The two have a complicated history. C tries to lighten the mood by pretending to cook in the half-built kitchen of Paris's house, jokingly asking for a can opener. This makes Paris laugh a bit. Ellie's relationship with Anna is warm and caring. She looks after Anna, who has just lost a tooth, but her dynamic with her stepfather, Daniel, is strained. Her arguments with her mother, Celeste, often escalate. On the other hand, Anna has a good bond with Daniel, her biological father, and likes living with him and Celeste more than being with her real mother in Florida. One day, Anna finds a necklace in a box belonging to Ellie's mother. She tells Ellie that Celeste wants to adopt her, which makes Anna excited. This leads Ellie to argue with her mother about her biological father, who disappeared long ago. Frustrated, Ellie takes a boat and sets off, where she sees wolves, something unusual for the area. She ends up spending the night at her friend Claire's house. The next morning, Ellie learns that Anna is missing. When Ellie returns home, her mother accuses her of leaving the day before, as she thinks Anna followed her, just like she did in the past. Adding to the tension, the boat in which Ellie arrived is not there anymore. At the same time, Paris notices something strange during a walk by the lake. His hand trembles whenever he steps on a certain spot. As he heads back to his co-workers, the engine of their equipment breaks down. As Paris worked on fixing the engine, he lowered his hand into the water and pulled out a necklace identical to his mother's. The discovery sends a jolt through him. He drove to his father's house, determined to find his mother's original necklace. Memories of his mother's tremors flooded back, and a troubling thought took hold. What if her condition had been misdiagnosed? Could the lake hold the answer to her suffering? Paris led C to a mysterious spot by the lake, a place where he had felt something strange. This time, nothing unusual happened. As the sun sets, Paris's focus shifted. He became obsessed with digging into the lake's history, searching for old water level records from 1985 to the present. With his father's notes, which detailed every seizure his mother experienced, Paris discovered a disturbing pattern. Each time the lake's water levels dropped, his mother's seizures worsened. He shared his findings with C, but she wasn't convinced. She thought the tremors were likely genetic, not caused by the environment. Paris, frustrated and obsessed with finding the truth, shut her out and avoided talking to her further. Meanwhile, Ellie was having a painful conversation with her mother. For years, she had believed her father had simply disappeared. But now, her mother revealed the truth. He had abandoned their family for another woman. The revelation shattered Ellie. Her disbelief turned into burning anger as she grappled with the painful reality that her father had chosen to leave them. Overcome with emotions, Ellie took a boat and drifted across the lake. Suddenly, in an inexplicable moment, the dark night turned into bright daylight. The forest around her transformed from shadowy darkness to glowing day. Confused, Ellie noticed a man in the distance. She asked him for a ride back to safety. When she returned home, her mother told her Anna was missing. Ellie froze. How could that be? This happened yesterday, not today. Through the window, Ellie saw her own reflection returning in the boat she'd just used. Panic gripped her as she ran. Another version of herself entered the house, quietly taking the boat. And that's the reason that boat disappeared. As Ellie navigated the water again, she felt a strange tremor in her hand, just like Paris had experienced. She realized she had passed through some kind of portal and returned a day earlier. The lines between time and identity blurred. She began hearing Anna's voice echoing through the air, guiding her back toward the portal. Ellie followed the voice but felt a sharp pain as her ears began to bleed. When she finally found Anna, the girl was speaking about something that had happened a month ago. Ellie's heart raced as she realized the truth. Ellie checks Anna's teeth in a panic. Ellie understood that somehow she had traveled back a month in time, as this was the time when Anne followed her when she left home. At the same time, Paris crossed the portal. He found someone lying injured and vulnerable. Without hesitation, he rushed to help, carefully tending to wounds before lifting them into his arms. As Paris continues his journey, he notices something strange. A dam hasn't been built yet. He sees some ranchers nearby and hands Anna over to them for help. Curious, he asks if the place is Caddo Lake and what year it is. When they tell him it's 1952, Paris pulls out a paper that confirms the filling of Caddo Lake started in 1953. Realizing he's traveled to the past, he smiles, knowing he might be able to change what happened. Maybe he can save her mother from the car crash. As he walks back, he spots wolves, as wolves are no longer in the area in his timeline. Meanwhile, Ellie is on her boat, winding through the forest. She clutches a rope to guide herself back, but suddenly stumbles upon a strange portal. She ventures through it and finds herself in a magical spot that feels oddly right. A tremor shakes her hand as she takes in her surroundings. Exploring further, Ellie discovers Anna's life jacket and an old boat, which she decides to use. When Ellie arrives at a new location, she's greeted by a poster for an election in 2005. She realizes she has traveled 17 years back in time from 2022. Paris also navigates the portal and notices the rope Ellie left behind. He follows its path, but a sudden rush of blood fills his ears, drowning out all other sounds. Emerging on the other side, he finds the end of the rope and a boat floating in the water. Just as he feels a flicker of hope, a stern voice startles him. A guard warns him that the boat channel is off limits. Also, the guards ask him if that's his boat. Panicking, Paris flees, but the guards chase him. The boat crashes, and Paris finds himself in a hospital room. Confused, he learns the date. It's 2022. He has jumped far ahead, leaving 2003 behind. Ellie is searching for Anna. She shows a photo of her sister to people at the store, hoping someone has seen her. While looking outside, Ellie notices a necklace inside a car, the same necklace Anna was wearing. Ellie opens the car door to grab it, but C spots her and accuses her of stealing. A fight breaks out, and Ellie asks her from where she got the necklace. C tells her that it belonged to Paris' mother Anna Lang, the guy who has been missing. Ellie realizes that she is talking about her sister Anna, who has been missing since 2003. Ellie also learns that C is actual Celeste as she reveals her baby's name, Ellie. Stunned, Ellie realizes she's looking at herself and her mother from 17 years ago. Celeste asks Ellie if Paris is with her. Overwhelmed, Ellie wants to find her father to tell him they have a child and that her mother isn't angry with him. Ellie runs to an internet cafe with the flyer and necklace. She searches for Anna's name and learns that Anna died in a car accident at the age of 55. Looking through old school archives, Ellie finds photos of her sister's life. She prints them out and compares them to the flyer. The realization hits her. Her sister Anna and the woman in the photos are the same person. Ellie cries as she looks at pictures of Anna's childhood, her marriage, and the son she had. She was happy. Meanwhile, Paris is questioned about how he came into possession of the boat, which belongs to Anna from 2022. He notices it's starting to rain, and the water level is rising. Realizing the portal is closing, Paris becomes anxious. He knows he must hurry if he wants to return. Paris asks to use the bathroom but escapes instead. As he runs, he finds news about an 8-year-old girl who has gone missing. The girl is actually his mother as a child. He keeps going and finds his father, very sick, and tells him he has found his mother. Paris explains that there's a place on the lake that can change time. He tells him that he carried her injured mother in his arms and saved her. Just then, the police arrive. Paris tells his father he's okay now and wants to go back home to live with him and be with Celeste. He jumps out of a window and stops a car to hijack it, but it turns out to be Celeste and Daniel inside. Celeste recognizes Paris, shocked because he looks exactly the same as he did 17 years ago. Paris drives away, escaping the police. The police chase him onto a bridge, surrounding him with no escape. Desperate, Paris jumps into the water. As the dam breaks, the surge of water knocks him down, and he hits his head on a rock. Meanwhile, Ellie returns to the portal, but during her journey, she loses the necklace. When she crosses back through the portal, the water level rises, disrupting it and breaking the rope she was using. She finds herself 3 days into the future. In this timeline, Ellie meets Daniel. He tells her about a man found on Anna's boat who stole his car. Celeste believes the man looks just like Ellie's father. Ellie realizes it's Paris and tells Daniel they're connected through Anna. She assures him that Anna is safe now. At home, Ellie finds her mother watching the news about the death of a suspect, Paris. Ellie tells her mother that Paris never left them. He got lost in time and he was trying to come back to them. She shows her mother a printed photo from 1952 where Anna appears in a school picture, safe in a different timeline. Paris saved his mother, Anna, in 1952, even though he couldn't save her on the bridge in 1999. In doing so, he ensured her survival and changed the course of their family's history. The family tree becomes clear. Daniel is Anna's father, that 8-year-old girl from 2022 who travels to 1952 through the portal and saved by Paris, where she grows up to become Paris's mother. Paris and Celeste have a daughter, Ellie. After Paris disappears in 2003, Celeste accidentally meets Daniel and adopts Anna, who then gets disappeared from 2022 and moved to past, where she becomes the grandmother of Ellie. Celeste, who thought Paris abandoned them, realizes he always wanted to come back. The movie ends on a reflective note, showing that while the past cannot be changed, it can bring healing when faced together as a family. Paris and Ellie confront not just their family's history, but also the mysterious connections between their family, Caddo Lake, and its strange powers. And that's where this beautiful mystery ends. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting stories. Thanks for watching.